Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. It has been quite a few days since I've been here. I've been rather busy doing other bits and pieces. Anyway, it is 5:50 in the morning. Let's get my coffee and then we'll get into it. Okay, that's better. Now I've got the coffee. Okay, now in reality, it's probably been, I would say, probably a bit over a week that I've even been able to get back here. As you know, I've had lots going on with the house and everything else. And I've had some wins with it, so we are getting there, but it's been a battle. Okay, so yesterday I was going to get back into this yesterday, and then a few phone calls and everything else, and I never actually made it back. So yesterday I re-watched where we were to catch me up, and I think I'm going to have to do that again. Nope, I can see what's going on. Okay, so in our last episode, we did the guns and we did the smaller guns, and then we basically did these little tiny pieces down here and fitted all those on, which brings us to page 31, which was to put the boats on here, but we're not going to put them on because they're very fragile. But we do have to put on, what is this B? What's this B? 201. Okay, let's do that. So there's a page. There's those little pieces that we had put just not long put on the last episode. These were the boats I was talking about. They're made. They're just to the side. That I do remember I squashed about 4 times, and re-glued them, and then re-squashed them, re-glued them. This is the one I'm talking about, which is B201. I'm going to go look and see what that is. Well, there's our B201 and B200. So let's get the 201 off. I just thought I'd mention this as I take these off. All these pieces are all being painted dark. If you remember correctly, we did a whole bunch of them on another sprues. Maybe not that side, but that side we did. We darkened a whole heap of them up. So that 201 is technically already a little bit darker. So let's just cut him off. And there is the 200 to go on the opposite side as well. So let's do that one there while we're at it. And then that's to go the left side. So let's not confuse that one. That's the 200. Let's put him over here out of the way. And they go on the rear of the ship. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. I know the 200 goes this side. So that is the ship. This is the rear of the ship. The 201 is this side, and the 200 is on this side. Not really sure what goes in these two just yet, but that's what goes in there. Now, if they're in your way, take that gun off, and now you've got all the room you need to fit those in. So we'll do that now. So there's one in, and I just sort of pointed it out between the two guns, I suppose, because, well, I can't really see it shooting past the gun, so that's why I put it that way. And what I'll also do is I'll do the 200 now on the other side. And there's the other one in. And our gun back on. So the rest of this page is basically just about the boats. And I'm going to leave them till last, I think. That's what I'm going to do here. So section 32 is also about the boats, so we'll leave those. We've already done these pieces here. So we're really on to section 33, which we need to make up 2 more guns. And section 34 has 8 guns. So I think we'll do those next. But we'll do just the 2 on its own. So there is our 2 DA6s. Just here. Yeah, they're small. There we go. That's better. So they're now off. So that's the 206s, and we need two DO5s. So we'll get those. So there's our next two pieces, and we'll put those together. So the gun kind of goes backwards, and then the gun parts stick out forwards from that. So the guns sort of face that direction, and then the cannon parts go from the back here, or what I would call the front, forwards. Just like that. So you do one on one side, and then you have to do one on the other side. So what you'll end up with is a double cannon, sort of that way and that way. I think I've just messed them up. I did. And you want them facing exactly the same way, so when they're on the camera they look the same, so they're a full barrel sort of thing. So there it is, and there is our second gun. I just need to adjust that just a little bit. Right, there you are. See if I can get a better view. There we go. Yeah, so let those two dry off. So we're going to need 8 of the D204s and 8 the DO203s. So that should be pretty easy. There they are right here on the bottom row here. And because they're all partly guns and they're all slightly darker, they should stand out right on the ship. So we'll get all those off. So there's our parts off. Let's put them together. So what you'll end up with is the fatter part of the gun to stick to my left, and then obviously the cannon part goes on top of it. It's a little fiddly, and I found it best to hold on to the gun barrels and then drop the base upside down onto it like that. It's a little fiddly, but you'll be right, you'll get there. Well, there is our 8 guns, and our other 2 are up here on the side, so there's 10 all up. So they're all made. So what we'll do, so that was on page 30, sorry, that was on section 33 and 34, and the next page, which is 35, kind of skips it. I don't know why they did that. It should have been this one first. So what we'll do is we'll place, 36 tells you where to put them all. So what I'm trying to say is we'll do 36 first and then come back and do 35. Just while we've got them on the bench, we'll place them on the ship. Okay, so you've only got 2 number 33s, and they go up here either side on the tower up here. And I'm kind of glad they're in darker grey because they'll stand out now. So I'll fit them on. So there's one on just here, and it does look good, but I think I've knocked the gun off, so I'm going to have to fix that. So there they are on the ship. They look okay, actually. I think I like them, but while turning the ship over to fit those, I've knocked all the other guns off, these ones down here. So we'll just leave them to the side for 1 minute. And I'll probably say whatever you do on one side here, because you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, and it does say the 233s there. Whatever you do on one side, you'll probably do on the other. So here it shows you one side, so just on the ship, just do the absolute other side there, and you should be right. Okay, so I've just got the ship turned up. So there's our first 1, 2, 3, and 4 on, and there's our 2 up there from earlier, and they look good with a slightly darker colour because they kind of stick out a bit more. So that's those 6 on. We'll continue. So the next couple on this side, one goes in the square piece here, and one also goes in the round piece. So we'll do those. And there is our next 4 on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they're all pretty good. So that's our 10 guns on. So let's go back to now section 35. And this looks like it's got a couple of guns and a couple of lights. Now, let's get those out. So G165s are all here, and yes, again, they're all painted, so let's get them on. So there's our 4 G165s. And I can tell you that one goes in this section, and the other one goes in this section. So let's put those two on. So those two are now on. They look like some sort of radar or something like that. Again, you've got to kind of get them pretty straight. So, yeah. Take the time you need to straighten them up though. And the last two will go either side of this tower here. There's one on one side and obviously the mirror image is on the other. So there it is in there, just there like that. So section 35 also has 1, 2, 3, 4 fog lights. We've got them painted in the grey already. I'll show you. So here they are just here. Now we painted them grey, but what I'm going to say now, just to make them stand out a little bit, let's put a little bit of silver on the fronts to make them stand out a little bit. So I'll grab a brand new brush for this one. It's got a nice small head on it. And I'm sure by the time I put the paint on there, it'll be okay. This was one of those ones that I tried as an experiment last time. We used a slightly darker one. I haven't actually used this one, so I'm going to use this as the light to see what it does. Well, I just painted the first one and realised I hadn't actually pressed record. So there's the first one done. And luckily we got another set because here's the next set. Where are we? Just there somewhere. So let's paint these ones as well. Okay. We can do the whole front, doesn't really matter. Can we do the double brush? Oh yeah. And that's kind of like what we're after. We're after just sort of highlighting it without actually highlighting it. Let's put a bit more paint in it, one. That's better. Let's do the next one. Yeah. One more. Yeah, some would say you're only supposed to paint the inside, but they're so tiny, who's going to care? And I did say to make the job easier. So there's our 4 done. I think they look pretty good. Now, I don't normally like to spray on the sprue because generally when you cut them off, because it causes a bit of an issue. But I think on this ship, the parts are so small, it's not going to really matter. So that's 8 lights now done. So that was this colour here, the Seidel colour. I kind of like these. I think they're really good colours. I think what we might also do just before we take these off, I'm sure you can see what I can see. I'll use my finger as a guide just to knock those rough edges off. I know they're lights, but yeah, those couple seem to be okay. It's just those first couple. And they're alright. They'll do. So there's our lights. And you're kind of getting that glow effect anyway, so it might actually work. When you turn them around, they're kind of in the light. So, yeah. So the drawings are almost doubled. So whatever you do here, so one goes there, and one goes there, and obviously the opposite is on the other side, and same with the tower. So we'll get those on. I'm going to face 2 to the rear, and I think I'm going to face 2 to the front, just so, we've got some light both directions. So there's the lights on there. You should be able to see them. One on one side, one on the other. They work. So there's our 1, 2, 3, and 4 lights on. And they're pretty much pointing in all 4 directions, so there's enough light to get all over the place. And there's one up the front of the tower up on here, so we'll put that at one on as well. So there is our front light on. We'll just give him another small adjustment. He should be okay there. There's another view slightly zoomed out. So that looks like all of 35 done. I'm just double checking everything. Those 2 went in, the 2 lights there. Whatever they are, I think they're some sort of gun or something, or radar, or I don't really know. Says a light there, so yeah, they're all done. It does say something about 32 here. What's 32? Let me have a quick look. Okay, about 5 minutes later, that 32 was the one we put on earlier, which was the B200. So no need to worry there. So that's all of 35 done. All of 36 done. Now let's move on to section 37. What do we got here? We've got some more guns and stuff, which are D202s. It looks like there's a few of them. There's a couple of G183s. Alright, so let's get all those off. It looks like the 2 numbers. Well, there's the G183, so we'll put them aside. 1. And there's our 4 Ds, 202s. That will be the finish of the sprue. So I'll cut them off. Yeah, so there's our sprue finished. There's one of them gone. We'll get the other ones off. And there's our other Ds, so let's get them off. I was very careful how I took them off, not to mark the paint. So I was very careful, sort of just on the side of that. So we don't mark the paint. And because there is original plastic, there'll be the tiniest little bit of unpainted stuff on there. So there's our 8 off. And just like that, they're all off and painted. And there's our other 2 guns there, just while we're at it. Okay, so this could get a little confusing. So with you only have 2 G183s. So they go either side of the radar tower here, and we also have one of the other guns just here. So if you put your 183s on first, then you don't have to worry about anything else. So there's our G183 on, and they're both on either side. So now we'll put our other guns here. I'm quite amazed at the sheer amount of guns on this ship. There is quite a lot. So, yeah. Yeah, very impressed by it. So let's just do one of those on camera. I'll set one up in my hand. Put him on. And then basically... Nope. Like that. And then we'll just do some adjustments. There we go. I think it was a good choice to go the slightly darker with all the guns and bits and pieces and not actually paint the structure on this one and just kind of cheat a little bit. It just seems to work and make a whole lot of sense. I'm just making some adjustments while I'm talking here. So there's those. Remember, whatever you do on one side, you pretty much have to do on the other. So there's not many holes left in that one there. There are a couple on the ship down here, so we'll go and check out what's down there. So there's those last couple of guns in. There's no real holes left up here. There's only one more, which is probably for a mast, and one more here. So I think we'll move towards the front now, fit the rest of the guns. So there is the opposite side of the ship. There's 1, 2, and one more has to go here. So we'll put those on. Sorry, I didn't realise you didn't see that. One more has to go here on either side. And there he is with the other ones. So we'll turn the ship around and we'll put the other side on there now. Okay, and there's our last gun on out of the 8. I strategically placed them because I do know they were cut off the sprue. So I've kind of sort of left the backs that were off the sprue in places where you couldn't really see it. And that's the reason why I'm not a big fan of painting on the sprue. But I think on this ship it was worth it. Um, I do think I picked up a mistake in these drawings. So I'm still looking for what goes into here. And on the drawing, it's got that this is closed. And it's not, because this is the right piece for here. The other side is closed, but this one is not. I'm going to see if there's a light left over at the end of it. If there is a light, I'll just put a light in here, which I believe is what it's for anyway. That's a light protector of some sort. So there's really not much holes left in this ship. We are out of time though, so I think what we'll do is we'll call it here for today, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.